The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Adam Welch here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your Friday morning to join us on this webinar. Have a great presentation put together for you here today. Joining me and presenting today is John Enting, and John's going to be taking us through some pretty unique trust products with National Guardian Life. And John, a consistent top advisor with us here at IAMS, really makes this part of his business, a very strong part of his business, and very knowledgeable on the product and how to position it. And if there ever was a product that just about everybody could benefit from, this would be one of those products with National Guardian Life. So excited for John to take the reins here and walk us through the product and how to incorporate it into your business to help you boost your production. Before I hand things over to John to go through the product, just a couple items I want to touch on beforehand, and that is, first of all, if you do have any questions throughout the course of the presentation, please don't hesitate to type those in your question box on the control panel and send those over. Be glad to get those answered as they come in here towards the end of the webinar. Additionally, in some of these introductory slides, there are going to be a couple of poll questions, and as always, your participation in those poll questions is greatly appreciated. It will help us get some additional information out to you on some relevant topics that you may have interest in. So again, your participation is greatly appreciated. With that, I do have a few introductory slides I want to go through, make sure everyone is well aware of all the great rewards, incentives, and services available for you to take advantage of when you work with us here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services. First of those items are going to be a couple of great business builders. Starting off with our Refer Producer Bonus Program and our marketing reimbursement. So with Refer Producer Bonus Program, just like you all out there in the field, the most qualified lead you can receive, the warmest lead you can receive, is going to be a referral from an existing client or somebody in your network, passing your name along and recommending your service to new individuals. The same holds true for us here at IAMS. The most qualified lead we can receive is a referral from a producer that you know out there in the field that is doing business, they're active, but they're not currently working with IAMS. So we want to encourage you to refer those producers over to us, and we want to reward you very handsomely for doing so. So basically how this program works, if you pass along a referral to us, and they get contracted with one or more of our companies, we're going to cut you a check right off the bat for $50, just as a simple thank you for making that connection and allowing us the opportunity to get them contracted with us. From there, once that referral starts writing business, you can really earn some great additional cash based on the business they write. So you can see in this example, basically we're going to pay a 20 basis point override, 0.2%, on all the business that your referral writes with us. So in that example, if you refer over 3 producers, and each of those producers are $1 million a year producers, and annuity, single premium life, target life, we are going to pay you that 20 basis point override on that business, and that would equate to $6,000 extra cash in your pocket for doing nothing more than making an introduction to us and passing their name along. So a great opportunity to get some extra spending cash in your pocket for making those introductions. We certainly want to encourage you to do so with that great bonus. Important to note that bonus is not coming out of your referrals commission or your commission. That's coming directly out of our pockets to you as a thank you for referring them over. So please keep that in mind. Additionally, we do also have a great marketing reimbursement program for you to take advantage of. And put simply, this rewards you for the more business that you write with us here at IAMS. Based on the business you write, we set aside a certain amount of dollars, rough numbers, $100 for every $100,000 in premium that you write with us. That's going to be $100,000 in annuity, single premium life, and prorated for target life as well. But basically, the more you write with us, the more that marketing reimbursement account is going to grow for you. And this is a great way to help get some cost sharing in your marketing expenses and potentially cut your expenses in half. So anytime that you incur a marketing expense, be it hosting a client seminar or a client appreciation event, you need new business cards, or you do a mail drop, whatever the case may be, as long as those expenses are put towards building building your business and getting your name out there to increase your production, send us receipts and we'll cut you a check for up to half of those expenses based on what you have in that account. We do also have a great new producer bonus program. So this would be a great program for those of you that are new to us here at IAMS within your first 6 months of getting contracted with our carriers. Be a great option for your referrals that you pass over to us to take advantage of. How this program works, as I mentioned, it's rewarding you for your first business that you write with us during your first 6 months of being contracted. There are 3 different levels that you can choose to cash in on. Once you cash in, that's the new producer bonus. It's done. But you do have 6 months to work your way up to that top $500,000 level. So basically starting at the upper left-hand corner, the first level is the $100,000 level. Again, $100,000 annuity, single premium life, and also prorated for target life premium. If you write that level of business in your first 6 months, you can qualify for one of those great rewards, most popular being $750 cash bonus. But we do also have a website available that we will create and host for you and pay for it for 2 years. And you can also choose the latest generation iPad. So any one of those great rewards at that 100,000 level. If you can exceed 100 and hit 300,000 in your first 6 months, then the rewards, of course, get a little bit better. Have a great Social Security marketing program and a 3,000-piece mailing to help you get some additional leads in the door. Boost your marketing reimbursement account with $2,000, or that $750 cash bonus increases to a $1,500 Visa gift card. Alternatively, if you can exceed 300 and hit $500,000, of course, the rewards get even better. So here we have a couple of great business building rewards. A couple of great seminar programs from 2 of our elite producers, Matt Gill and Dave Pemper. Very successful out there, always qualify for all of our trips, and they have built their business around seminar marketing. Truly a couple of testaments to the fact that seminar marketing still does work very well. That's how they've built their business, and they continue to build their business with seminars. So they both have 2 different seminar approaches, but both, of course, very effective. So you can choose Matt Gill's seminar system that comes along with a 5,000-piece mailing and some great coaching to help you deliver that seminar effectively, or you could choose Dave Pemper's seminar system that comes along with a 4,000-piece mailing and some tremendous coaching from Dave Pemper as well. Alternatively, if you wanted to get away and take a vacation, you can customize your own vacation with our Ritz-Carlton travel package at that $500,000 level. So again, that's our new producer bonus, rewarding those of you new to us here at IAMS in your first 6 months based on the business that you write with us during that time frame. Our back office support, this is something that we really pride ourselves on and kind of hang our hats on. We've been in business for 32 years now, and that is largely due to the top-notch service we provide the independent agents out there and independent advisors. We know your job out there in the field as an independent advisor is not an easy one. There's a lot that falls on your shoulders, and we realize that and want to kind of take some of that load from your shoulders and shift it over to ours here so you can be more efficient out there in the field. So we provide what we like to call full service support from submission to commission. So everybody here on the annuity and life marketing staff and teams do a great job of providing pre-sale support and helping you with case design and product selection and running quotes for you, providing you assistance on making the presentation to the client for whatever solution you're going to present and how to position that with the client. Get everything out to you that you need to write the case. Once that case is written, submit it back into us, and we have a very talented team of case managers that will review your applications and scrub them before they get to the carrier to make sure they're going to be in good order to avoid on any delays due to not in good order applications. If you write a fully underwritten life application, we will actually schedule the paramed exam and lab requirements for you out of our office, and then we'll continually follow up on the business with the carrier to make sure they're getting it pushed along the process as quickly as possible so we can get that case placed and get you paid as quickly as possible. So that's our full service support from submission to commission. We are very confident you're not going to find similar support out there in the business and anything better than what we provide here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services. We do have a full creative marketing department here, so we can not only assist you of course, with the sales support side, but we can assist you in marketing yourself and building your brand and getting your brand message out there. So we have a number of options to choose from with our creative marketing department, number of ways we can help you in this area. from turnkey solutions that are pamphlets and brochures that are professionally written, ready to go out. We just pop your information in there and they're ready to go to the printer or be emailed out or handed out at your client appointments. We also have full agency solutions where we can help you build a brand and build a unified brand message and get that information popped on any advertising materials, business cards, brochures that you may have. And we also have some digital consulting solutions as well. So helping you on the digital marketing front, from website creation and hosting to email marketing and even social media marketing. So Tasia, Josh, Andrew, their team really do phenomenal work in that area. And I will mention we are not in the creative business to make money. So if you're already producing with us, there's a good chance that a lot of these solutions would be available at no additional charge. If you're just getting going with us, we're not in this business to make money. We think you're going to find our prices to be very competitive with your local advertising or PR firm that you may have worked with in the past. So our whole goal is to get you in front of more people and get your business to a higher level, and that's where everybody wins. So keep that in mind. Our creative marketing department, if you'd like more information, please don't hesitate to give us a call and ask to speak with the creative team. Tasia, Josh, or Andrew would be glad to visit with you further. Our website, www.imsinc.com, tremendous resource for you. If you have not gone out and registered to get access to our website, I highly encourage you to do so. Again, imsinc.com. There's a lot of great information out there, from our term quoting engine, our forms engine. If it's after hours, you're in a pinch and you need a quick term quote, or you need an application for an evening appointment, of course, it's our website. It's available 24/7. You can pop out there and grab those items pretty quickly from our website. We do also have a full sales resource library out there. There's just a lot of information in that sales resource library, everything from some unique fact finders to even client presentations, and some great calculators to help you in any unique planning needs. So certainly encourage you to go out there and check that information out and register for your account at imsinc.com. Our retirement analyzer software, we do have a very useful and competitive piece of software available to qualified agents. If you're contracted and writing business with us, we can make this available to you. But this software really goes a long way to helping transition your business from more transactional and product-based to really illustrating to your clients the effect of working with you and implementing your solutions that you're presenting them. So it shows the impact on their overall retirement funds and their income picture during retirement. If you're looking at annuity sales with guaranteed lifetime income, it shows the impact of implementing those solutions and how long their retirement funds will last. Also can illustrate the impact of an untimely death or health concern, health emergency as well. So goes a long way to answering those 6 questions you see on the screen there. Marcus Solar in our office on the annuity marketing team is the point person for the retirement analyzer. If you'd like more information about what this can do for your business and how to get access to it, I certainly encourage you to give us a call and ask to speak with Marcus regarding the retirement analyzer. IMS Wealth Management, and this is actually going to bring us to our first poll question of the day. Very simply, would you be interested in learning more about IMS Wealth Management? But those of you that may not be aware, we do have a registered investment advisor in-house here, and that is IMS Wealth Management, an RIA. So no longer can we only assist you on the insurance side and fixed income side with fixed and indexed annuities, but now we can assist you in managing your client's wealth and working in that fee-based asset management business. So we have created our platform to be as simplistic and turnkey as possible, holding true to IAM's goal here and helping you be more efficient out there in the field. That carries over to IAM's Wealth Management. So we feel our platform is very competitive in terms of allowing you to focus on the items that matter most to you, and that's meeting with clients and prospects and gathering assets and making sales, not getting bogged down with the back end items that come along with fee-based asset management. So the compliance and operations aspect and actual fund management aspect all falls on our shoulders. That's not something that you're going to be bogged down with. Again, allowing you more time to to meet with clients and prospects and build those relationships. If you're considering jumping into fee-based asset management, there's a number of reasons to consider doing so. Chief among them is going to be increased revenue. It's another revenue stream, another business line for you to offer your clients instead of earning oftentimes just commissions on your annuity sales and insurance sales. With fee-based asset management, you're going to earn recurring revenue. You're going to earn fees based on the assets that are under your management. The more those assets grow, the more that recurring revenue stream is going to grow, and it's going to be a predictable income stream. You're likely also going to see a good increase in your insurance and fixed and fixed index business as well, being more of a holistic advisor, being able to assist your clients with more of their needs. That's going to go a long way into improving client retention and strengthening those client relationships. No longer are you just their insurance and fixed representative, and seeing the wealth management and wealth growth business going down the street to the next advisor. You'll be able to keep more share of your client's wallet with you and your business. So, number of reasons to consider that. If you'd like more information, I certainly encourage you to click yes on that poll question, and Mike Hansen will reach out with some additional information and shoot over an email with some additional information about IAMS Wealth Management and how we can get you on board there. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close that poll question. Thank you for those of you that responded to that. We will get some additional information out to you. Next time I'd like to visit about is actually going to bring us to our second poll question of the day, and this is regarding our all expense paid life and annuity academy. Very popular meetings. I usually hold 3 or 4 of these meetings a year. Great opportunities to get some significant sales training and marketing training here at no cost to you. So very simply on that poll question, would you be interested in learning more about our Life and Annuity Academy? Certainly not locking you into attending. It's just going to keep you on the list to stay informed of future dates as they become available, and get you to the front of the line to possibly attend one of these meetings. So I mentioned it is all expense paid, so we will take care of your flight, hotel, meals, all of that is on us. It only costs you a couple days out of your time. And while it's nothing out of your pocket, we know 2 days out of your time is very expensive in and of itself. It's 2 days you're not meeting with clients and prospects and making those sales. So we want to load you up with as much information as possible during these 2 days. So we're going to bring in and hear from some of our top producing advisors, including Matt Gill and Dave Pempers, we saw from the new producer slide. Going to go over their seminar system and some other ways that they're building their businesses. John Enting joining us today. He's also key speaker at these meetings, going over not only NGL but some other topics as well. We'll go over some different annuity and life industry topics, threats and trends. Of course, the DOL is always a hot button topic right now. Talk about that and the impact out there. Again, go over some different seminar marketing systems, talk about large life case marketing, so getting into the business insurance concepts, for example, key person, executive bonus, buy sell. Those are traditionally larger premium life cases, and we'll talk about ways to get you in front of those cases. Talk about wealth transfer strategies and solutions to use with your clients to help you boost your production involving single premium life. We'll also go over some different software tools, including our sales resource library and our retirement analyzer software. So a lot of information thrown out there. I can tell you one thing this meeting is not, and that's not a product roadshow. We're not going to bring out solely representatives from different companies to just go over their product and why you should sell their product. While there is some product training in there, the majority of the meeting is concentrated around providing you some different marketing concepts and sales tools that you can use and implement in your business to see a measurable increase in your life and annuity production. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out that poll. Looks like a majority of you did respond. Thank you very much to those of you that responded yes. We will get some additional information out to you and keep you informed of future dates as they become available. The final item I want to visit about before I hand things over to John here is our 2019 Marketing Summit. Just recently announced the location and details for this meeting. Very excited about it, this trip. You know, these marketing summits, top producer trips, have grown each and every year that we've held them. And couldn't be more thrilled about that. So 2019, we're going to be taking qualifying advisors out to Naples, the gorgeous Ritz-Carlton Resort in Naples, Florida. It's going to be held August 25th through the 29th of 2019. We are currently in the invitational period, qualifying period, so you can see the production requirements to be able to be considered for this great trip. Virtually anything you write with us here at IAMS, you're going to get credit for. So you can see it's a little more advantageous to qualify with single premium life and target life premium, but basically 3 million total credits will get you on this trip. So again, any combination of business that you write with us here at IAMS gets you credit towards qualifying for that trip. So give us a call, let us know what you're working on, what we can help you with, get you qualified for that great trip. We're very excited about it. Again, August 25th through the 29th, 2019, going out to the Ritz-Carlton in Naples. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and kind of fade off to the background here and hand things over to John Enting to talk about National Guardian Life and their unique funeral trust product. So with that, it's all yours, John.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that, Adam. Good morning to everybody out there. It's a wet Friday morning in Columbus, Ohio, as seems to be the case lately, but that's a good time to be inside talking to everybody. So today, what I'm going to do is talk to you about the NGL Funeral Trust and how we fund it, and about the opportunities that exist. One of the things I want to point out first and foremost is I'm not a guy from National Guardian Life's home office. I run a financial practice in Columbus, Ohio. So I'm in the field every day like you are. Actually, this week we've written a couple of these NGL contracts for new clients, and I'll explain to you how we get to that point with them. But mainly I just want to let you know I understand what you do and what you're going through. I've been doing this for 30 years, running this business, and so I have an appreciation for the hard work you put in. And if I can bring something to the table to help you increase the revenue for your business doing what you're already doing, then it's a win-win for everybody involved. So today we're going to cover the opportunity that exists with this product. We'll talk about the trust that we use to hold the asset, talk about the product itself, and then I'll give you some presentation ideas and tools you can take with you today. And then we'll also spend a minute talking about National Guardian Life and the company and what they bring to the table. And again, I'm basing this all on 14 years of experience of doing business with National Guardian Life. So the opportunity is really big. This product was brought to me about 14 years ago from a mentor of mine who started explaining it to me, and I didn't even understand at the time what he was talking about, but I did understand it could add another revenue leg to my business, and I'm always interested in that. So as I started investigating this and learning about it, you know, here we are 14 years later today, and I'm sharing this with other advisors to help them get it implemented so that you don't look back 14 years from now and go, gee, I wish I would have, and lost all the revenue that could have been coming into your business. So we all know that we're in the planning business, and anytime we're doing planning with significant events in our lives, we have to look at the options that are out there for our clients. We have to plan for them, and then we have to figure out where we get the money from to be able to implement the plan. So funeral and final expenses aren't any different. You know, someone when you pass away has to determine your services and pay the bill to the funeral home. And that question is who and when. And so there's two different ways to do it. Either the deceased prior to their death can get their affairs in order by doing planning and implementing an NGL funeral plan, or like in my personal situation, it can be left to the survivors afterwards. And I'll share with you a quick story about me. I'm the youngest of five. My mom and dad divorced when I was 2 years old, so I wasn't super close with my father. But, you know, I had conversations, but nothing in the planning area for sure. And so on January 21st of 2011, I got a call from my siblings that my dad had passed away and that I needed to go to the funeral home. Now, right, wrong, or indifferent, I've always been the entrepreneur in the family, so whenever anything goes down, I'm usually the one that gets the phone call. But what happened is I found myself sitting in a funeral director's office, and I was getting asked questions like, what was my dad's mother's maiden name? What was his highest rank in the military? What was his favorite flower, his favorite hymn? I knew none of these answers, and I felt bad about that because it was my own father. But what quickly hit me was all of these plans that I've been doing for my clients, how I was actually making it easier for their family so they didn't have to go through what I had been going through on that day at the funeral director's office. So National Guardian Life offers a couple different choices. You can plan and pay for the funeral. That's called pre-need. In other words, you go into a funeral home, you pick out your casket, you do all that stuff, and you either pay them or you set up a payment plan, or we can just set money aside to pay for the anticipated expenses, and that's the final expense side, and that's the side that we're going to talk about today as advisors. So, you know, we always ask our clients, how much does a funeral cost? And we get different answers from them. But I just had a client whose mom passed away on the 10th of April. I had done a funeral plan for her. So I just talked to Linda and I said, hey, you know, what was the cost of the funeral? And it was a little over $15,000 for the funeral. So they are getting more expensive. We're also hearing a lot more people say that they want to be cremated. And even if you're going to go through a cremation, you need to have somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000 set aside to take care of that. So if someone tells you, I'm not worried about it, I'm going to be cremated, there still is an answer for them in this plan. And so you got to ask them to consider, you know, if something happened to you yesterday, how would your funeral be paid for today? Because a lot of people have done none of this planning, and you're in a unique situation to not only help them, but to also get paid while you're doing it. So we all know this market is huge, and they did a national survey. 72% thought it was a good idea to pre-plan their funeral, but 64% had not taken the steps to do so. And we believe the reason for that is not many husbands and wives wake up on a beautiful morning and look at each other and go, hey, you know what? Why don't we run down to the funeral home and pick out our casket? The intention there is good, but they don't have the motivation to go do it. And your clients aren't any different. Like I told you, I'm working in the same marketplace that you're working in. So I'll share with you how we motivate those clients to get out of that 64% and move them to getting the plan put in place. We all know this market's huge. I mean, especially, you know, I'm 54 years old, but boy, if I was a young advisor getting into this business, which when I go to these meetings now, I see so many younger advisors, what an exciting opportunity to be in this marketplace. We're going to have more people to talk to than we've ever had to talk to before about planning, and whether it's financial planning or planning their funeral. But the numbers support what we're doing. And then by 2025, there's going to be almost twice as many seniors as there are today. So if you could take a product like a National Guardian Life and really become good at presenting and closing it, you've got unlimited prospects coming your way for years to come. So when we talk to our clients about this product, we start out talking to them a little bit about nursing care. And we point out to them the fact that, you know, 69% of Americans older than 65 are going to need some type of care. We talk to them about what that cost looks like. But the reason that we do that, which is really important, is because many of these people who need long-term care are going to have to try to qualify for Medicaid. And the reason for that is 93% of people in our country that have assets have done absolutely nothing to protect them from a long-term care stay. So as we go through this today, I'll show you how we bring up that conversation with the client and we motivate them to put money into the National Guardian Life program. So how does all this fit together for you as an advisor? We're going to take the financial protection of life insurance and we're going to blend it with an irrevocable trust. And we're going to allow your clients to plan ahead and set that money aside, because one thing we know for sure, if anybody is in the annuity business and you've sold somebody an income rider, you know, a lot of times they may never turn that on or never need it. One thing we know for a fact is everybody is going to pass away and they are going to need a plan to take care of their final expenses. So we're going to use that trust to hold that asset, and we're effectively spending that money down. And what that means is we're helping to protect it from Medicaid consideration in the event that they need long-term care. So I get a lot of questions about these at the academies and when I do these presentations. So we're going to go ahead and address the trusts themselves first. So when we use the NGL Irrevocable Trust, we get some benefits from that. We get protection from creditors. The benefits that are paid out to the client at death are income tax free. Those funds are available immediately. There's no cost for the trust. And here's why I say that. I work with an elder law attorney that's right down the street from me. I've had a good relationship for quite a few years with him. And he's happy to do an irrevocable trust. That party starts at about $7,500 to get that trust initiated and start moving assets into it. And then, you know, with this, because it's free, we can protect a limited amount of assets without spending that extra money with the attorney. Again, if they need that larger planning, you should certainly align yourself with an elder law attorney. But for a lot of clients, these trusts will work perfect. Everyone's going to qualify for that trust assignment. The death proceeds will pay for the funeral expenses, so there's no probate or delays. And really important here, the funds are totally portable. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you live here in Ohio and you go prepay your funeral at a funeral home, and then your kids take a job down in Florida and you decide you want to move down there to be closer to your grandchildren, well, you might have a problem when you pass away because you've prepaid your funeral here in Ohio at a particular funeral home. With NGL, it is accepted at any funeral home in the United States. So as long as you're in a funeral home in the United States, this is totally portable and you can use it at any of them. So this next slide here, I'll let you just read through this on your own. But the key point is when you look at the irrevocable funeral trust down there, we're getting a yes in every column that we're looking for when we're trying to protect money for a client. So that's why it works well, and as long as you understand it and can convey it to your client, you will see that your clients will jump on board with it pretty quick. So how does the trust actually work? In essence, what we're doing is we're taking money and we're buying a life insurance policy. But it's not like your typical single premium life insurance policy. To kind of give you an example, if you put $15,000 into a traditional single premium life, you may get $25,000 of death benefit. Well, and have cash value. We don't care about cash value in this. What we're looking for is the benefit. So what the company does is if we put $15,000 in, your client may start with $15,500 of death benefit. They will get a little bump up. But then what will happen is the company will pay them an interest rate on that money. So we're going to take that policy. Let's say we put $15,000 in it. It starts at $15,500. We're going to assign that policy to the irrevocable funeral trust so that we get all those protections that we looked at the previous slide. That death benefit is going to grow at an interest rate. The funds are going to earn tax-free interest, and when it pays out, again, it'll pay out tax-free. The client I told you about a little bit earlier whose mom passed away, what we did is she called me and said, hey, you know, my mom passed away. I called National Guardian Life. I got the fax number for the funeral home. National Guardian Life faxed the claim form over to the funeral home, and within 48 hours, that money was at the funeral home to be paid for, to use for the funeral. So now with this, any excess funds, so I'll use a real life example of the client I'm talking about. Her death benefit had grown to about 16.5, and the cost of the funeral was a little over 15, so we'll call it 15.5. So there was $1,000 left over. Well, that money had to be paid back to the estate of the insured because we had given up ownership by putting it into the irrevocable funeral trust, so it couldn't be paid back out to a beneficiary. And we'll go into that a little bit later when we talk about the differences between the couple different trusts that are offered from National Guardian Life, which will be right now. So there's two different trusts that they offer. The first one is the Funeral Expense Trust. I know there's a lot of people on the webinar today. You're probably from all over the country, so I will show you a slide of what your state looks like. But for right now, I'm just going to talk about Ohio. In Ohio, we can put up to $15,000 into a funeral expense trust. It's going to give us that ability to exclude the assets from Medicaid immediately. So as soon as that money goes in, it is off of the table for any kind of a spend down. And then the trust will pay the funeral cost with any excess funds going to the estate of the insured, like I shared with you on the previous slide. Now, they also have an estate planning trust. And this one you can put up to $100,000 in it. And what it does is it still gives you the ability to protect the asset, but the money has to be in there for 5 years. So once the money has sat in that plan for 5 years, it's 100% protected from a nursing home spend down. And then if you just have the estate planning trust, you could do one of two things. They could have the funds used to pay the funeral expenses come out of there first, and then the amount that's left will be returned to a designated beneficiary of the insured's estate. Or if they've paid the funeral from a different source, so maybe they already had it prepaid at the funeral home, if you send in a copy of that paid bill to National Guardian Life, they will ship the whole 100,000 plus growth directly to the beneficiaries. So the question becomes, what trust do I use and when do I use it? So you'll see here on the next slide that for the funeral expense trust, it's a great crisis planning tool. I'll tell you what I mean by that. If you had a husband and wife, and let's say the husband was in the nursing home and you're talking to the wife and she's saying, oh my gosh, we're spending all this money on his care, you could actually write a plan on him without seeing him in the nursing home and write a plan on her, and you could protect $30,000 that they knew for sure was probably going to go to the nursing home because she's expressed to you that that's where the money's been going. Maybe you have someone where they're not really destitute at this point, but they're going, geez, you know, within 5 years, I might have to apply for Medicaid. We might run through all of our money. That's a great person to use the funeral expense trust with. And then you'll get the person that says, hey, you know what? I just want to get this thing planned. I just want to know the funds are protected, and I want to do it today so I have peace of mind. And that's what happened to me this week with the daughter of the client I've been using as an example. When I went out to see her, she said, hey, that was such a smooth transition. I just want to know that that's done for me. And so we wrote $15,000 for her in the funeral expense trust as well. So I will tell you, my experience has been with these, whenever we have had a client pass away, and I've been doing these a long time, so we have many that do, I will say 90% of the time we get new business from that household because they can't believe what an easy transitional process it is to get the funeral taken care of. So then we have the estate planning trust, and this is the real opportunity. I like to use a couple teachers that are very good clients of mine. When I did theirs about 4 years ago, they told me right up front, we're not buying long-term care insurance. We just want to know how much we can put into this estate planning trust that will protect money for our children that we know if we blow through everything else that they're going to get the money. So they're healthy. They know within 5 years they're not going to need care. So what we did is we put $100,000 on each one of them. We put it in the estate planning trust. They're through 4 years now. So in another year, they've got a couple $100,000 laying in there plus growth that if they both go in the nursing home and have to spend every other asset that they have, that money is going to be protected. So this is just someone that wants to easily transfer that limited amount of wealth to their children. Or if you know people who are very big on charities, I always tell our advisors we work with that, you know, you can have the best intentions in the world to leave money to a charity, but if you get sick and go into a nursing home, that money may not be there. So if that's truly what you want to do, why not set that money aside now and have it protected so that you know it's going to go exactly where you want it to go? And this is the real opportunity, because it's a nice day at the office when you can pick up a couple $100,000 into the estate planning trust on a husband and wife. And so that'll help you understand which one you should use in which situation. So now the product that we actually use to fund the trust is called the National Guardian Life Asset Guard. And so it's basically just a fixed rate life product that's going to give them that guaranteed interest rate. It's going to allow them to put it into the funeral trust. It's going to give them the increasing death benefit. And most importantly, it's going to give them that financial protection of the money for their final expense planning. So let's take a look at what the individual state limits look like across the country. So I'm going to point out a couple things on here where you see that $15,000, like if we look at Ohio, I can do $15,000 into the funeral trust, and I can also do up to $100,000 in the estate planning trust. Now, that's a total amount of money. So as an example, if I just went out and did $15,000 funeral trust and I go back and this client says, well, hey, I want to protect some money, you know, and use the estate planning trust, then I can put another 85 into the estate planning trust. So you can't have more than 100,000 between the two. So Adam, if you would, take your cursor and put it on Florida for me, if you could do that. So if you notice in Florida, they can't even use the funeral expense trust. But if I lived in Florida and I was trying to increase the revenue to my business, I would still do the same planning even if somebody wanted to put aside money for a funeral. I would just say to them, hey, look, the funeral expense trust is not available here in Florida, but what we can do is we can put $15,000 into the estate planning trust. The only difference is it won't be fully protected until we get through 5 years. So don't, because your limits are lower, like Nebraska, where Adam's at, you can see they can only put 4,916. Well, if that was the case for me, I would be putting 4,916 into the funeral expense trust and getting it excluded immediately, and then I would be putting the difference into that estate planning trust because I know in 5 years that money's going to be protected as well. So you move on there, Adam. You move on past that. We're good on that. There we go. Oh, you go back one more. Thank you. So here's everything that's covered by the irrevocable funeral trust. So basically everything that you would want covered at a funeral, you can see there that it's going to cover that, even down to the transfer of the deceased. So if your client was on vacation and they passed away, you know, it costs money to get them back to where they need to be buried, and this plan would cover that as well. So for today's conversation, I'm just going to talk about what we do in our practice, which we just do single premium. We don't do any multi-pay. So if you look there, you can see on a single pay, you can do a minimum face amount of $500 all the way up to a maximum face amount of $100,000. You can pick a growth rate for the client up to 2.25%, and there's only one health question on the application. So basically, everybody's going to qualify for the program. So you can write it from 0 to 99. Excuse me. So, you know, basically, if they can fog a mirror, they can get the program. And the other thing is, don't lose sight that you have a lot of clients that if you would just ask them, they would probably be willing to put aside money for their grandchildren, so that it would be their, you know, if you put 10,000 away today and you were earning 2% and you got a grandchild that's 5, 6 years old, you know, that's going to be very nice when they need it one day when they're older, and it also gets that money out of the estate of your client. So again, there's one health question. If they issue no, or if they answer no, it's going to be a standard issue. If they answer yes, it will be a guaranteed issue. So what's going to happen on the single pay, it's always going to be immediate full death benefit, and it's going to increase daily with simple growth. Now here's one of the things you're going to love about it. It couldn't be easier to do. I'm going to go back and tell you a little bit about me. In 1993, I wrote my very first annuity application on a guy that owned a dry cleaner in Marion, Ohio. And number one, I couldn't believe that the guy was going to let me walk out of his business with a $25,000 check. But number two, the application was 3 pages, and the last page was the receipt that I left with that client. Now, many of you have probably written annuities and traditional life insurance today. You know that these applications can sometimes be 25 to 35 pages. If you don't like paperwork, you'll love the National Guardian Life, because it's basically 2 pieces of paper and your state replacement form, and you've written the application for your client. So here's kind of what the app looks like. This is the top part of the application. So just basic client information. With us, we're going to mark that single pay plan where it says complete for single pay and 1-year plan only. That plan that's highlighted, that's where you're picking your interest rate for your client. So A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. We'll show you where that becomes important. Then there's that statement of health. So, you know, they're asking them that health question. If they answer no, then they're going to be standard. If they answer yes to one of those questions, then they're going to be guaranteed issue, but they're still going to get the plan. So at the bottom, you're just going to have the client sign it. The next page is if you pick up with cash with app, like I did this $15,000 from the client earlier this week. That's my receipt that I left for the client. And then they're going to have their assignment form. So either it'll be the funeral expense trust or the estate planning trust. You're going to go down through there. You're going to have the client sign it. Now here's something that's really important. I work with this elder law attorney, and he will come to me in a crisis situation and say, hey, you know what, I'm helping this lady apply for Medicaid. We need to get this money off the books today, because typically what happens is once the contract's issued, 45 days after it's issued, National Guardian Life puts it into the trust. But if we have a situation like I just described to you with the elder law attorney, we can sign down here, waive the 45 days, and have the money put directly, you know, that day from the policy transferred into the trust. So we do have a provision in here, and if we're in crisis mode and we're trying to get that money off the table and as a non-countable asset immediately, we can make that happen for the client. So, you know, when you're presenting to clients, there's a couple of things I want to say about it. Number one, when I wrote that first annuity application in 1993, I had just learned about annuities. It was the very first application I'd ever written. I feel today, again, we're in 2018, I think I could teach classes on annuities, because it's not that I'm the smartest guy in the world, it's repetition. I learned my craft. I know how to do it, and I know how to do it well. So when you're presenting to clients, there's going to be some key things that you need to understand. And number one is you got to get in front of people. So I always recommend, if you're a new advisor, what a better time to bring this up to a client than at an annual review. And how I would handle it would kind of be like this. I would go into the annual review. I would say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, would you agree that over the time we've worked together, that the recommendations that I've made to you have panned out the way that we agreed that they would? And your clients are going to tell you yes, they believe in you. And then my next thing to them would be, well, there's something that we didn't take care of that I'm now bringing to the attention of all my clients. So we're going to see tonight how we can get this done for you in the most efficient manner. Because when you're sitting with an existing client, you're comfortable. If you make a little mistake, it's not going to be that big of a deal, because you're comfortable. So you're going to review those issues, discuss the needs, and then you're going to present that, excuse me, that funeral trust funding. So you're going to stress the benefits of planning ahead. I talked to an advisor at the last academy, and he said, gee, John, what a great story you have to tell about your father. And I said, well, you know, that can be your story too. You just need to tell them that, hey, I have a very good friend in this business. Let me tell you what happened to his dad and why we stress planning ahead. Explain to them that it can be used with any funeral home, because what happens a lot of time with funeral homes, you can pre-plan today, but you don't know if that funeral home is going to go out of business, be bought, change ownership. You know, there's a lot of different things that can happen, and with this plan, you're always in total control. Now, where we do a lot of business in this plan is other than cash, is using 1035 exchanges on existing life insurance. This is really important when you're in the field. When I used to do reviews for clients, I did a lot of seminars to build our business, and when they would come in and bring everything in, I remember they would bring in these old life insurance policies. They were old paid-ups that, you know, they smelt like must because they'd been in the safe deposit box or at a home in a filing cabinet, and I would push them aside because I was looking for the bigger dollars. But what I found out is, after I learned about this program, most of your clients do not realize that when they die, they do not get both the death benefit and the cash value from their policy. They get whatever is greater. So if you go into a client's home and they own an old life insurance policy that's got $12,000 of cash value and their death benefit is $14,000, you need to quickly explain to them that if they go into a nursing home situation, they're going to make them spend that cash value in there, and that policy is going to be gone. Why not 1035 exchange it into a funeral expense trust and protect that cash and know that it's going to be there for their final expenses, versus just leaving it out there for chance that if they do go in a nursing home, they're going to lose all the value. We do a lot with this, so keep your eyes open. Maybe there's old UL policies that are going to blow up, and the client's like, look, you know, I got $6,000 in cash value. I'm not going to pay that exorbitant premium they want me to pay to keep the policy in force. So why lose the $6,000 that's sitting in there, which is what's going to happen because it's going to keep eating it up? Move that cash out, at least save something for them. So keep your eyes open on the 1035 exchange. There's a big opportunity out there. And then with anything else, we got to close the sale. So if you know the product, you know what you're talking about, and you can give that client the peace of mind of knowing that they've planned ahead and you've protected those funds, you will close business. So where do you find the money? Again, the money is out there. You know, we always ask our clients, have you prepaid your funeral? That's our standard question. Have you prepaid your funeral? It's a yes or no question. If they say no, we ask them, well, where would you get those funds from or your family get them from to pay for your funeral? And then you'll hear these answers. Well, you know, my daughter knows I have a CD over at the bank with $10,000 in it to be used for my funeral. Well, if that's the case, why do we want to leave it at the bank where if you get sick and go into a nursing home, that's a countable asset where we can take it and put it into our program, get you a better interest rate, and protect the money for you. We talked about 1035 exchanges on other insurance policies. Many of you may have a big existing block of annuity business. What a great time to take that money that has a penalty-free withdrawal and explain to the client that, you know, if you get sick and go in a nursing home, this annuity money is exposed to that. Why don't we take penalty-free withdrawal, pay the tax on it, on that interest coming out, because somebody's going to have to anyway at some point, and start getting that money protected. So the money's out there, and what I tell my clients when I'm trying to do this program with them is I say to them, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you know what, if you think about it, you're theoretically not even buying something today. You're taking your money from your right pocket, which is countable for a nursing home spend down, and you're just moving it over to your left pocket to protect it. And in essence, that's really all they're doing. The money's already there. You can go ahead to that next one, Adam. Hello? There we go. Oh,
Are we back
back up
on
one.
track?
You get ahead of me there.
Getting a little trigger happy.
Right there. You're doing good. So, yeah, I see that. So these are the brochures that National Guardian Life put out there for you. They've changed the Funeral Expense Trust and the Estate Planning Trust brochure. Same content, it just doesn't look like that. But we use this with all of our clients, and I'll tell you why. It's just a trifold, but it's written in layman's terms. I had a client that I worked with that had, it was actually a 1035 exchange. I went out and met with them. They said, hey, we want to think this over. I said, well, you know, I'm fine with people thinking it over, but I'm going to reach out to you tomorrow to get a decision from you, and I'll call you around noon. That next morning at 9 o'clock, my phone rang. It was this particular client. She said, hey, we read that brochure. In addition to what you explained to us, let's just set the appointment and get the money moved. And it was about $70,000 in cash value from an existing life policy. So these will work. You can get them imprinted with your company information on them if you want to use them as a leave behind piece. So National Guardian Life has got a great track record in this industry. They've got over 100 years of service. I can tell you, I've been working with them for 14 years now, or a little over 14. I can't tell you one instance in 14 years, and I can't say this about many insurance companies, that I've ever had one issue with anything of doing business with them. So they're good at what they do, and they're there to support you. Again, we all want to make sure, you know, when we're telling a client what we're doing with their money, it's really about the ability of the company to step up at the time of need. And you can see here that they're pretty solid on their financials. So this is their website. When you become a licensed agent with National Guardian Life, this website, I'm telling you, has every possible thing that you could need on it. And it also has some PowerPoint presentations that are consumer friendly. So if you're an iPad guy and you like to take that into your appointment, you could have this presentation right on there, click it open, and walk your client right through the story of National Guardian Life's plans, which makes it nice. Also on here where you see the reports, that's where you can click your commission. One of the things I love about National Guardian Life is the day before yesterday, we two-day mailed them this 15th. Well, actually, it was 2 applications for $30,000, but we sent that to them. So by Monday morning, that commission will be in my account. So their submission to commission, usually as soon as they get it the next day, it's issued and you're paid on the business because they issue everything. There's no turn downs on the product. So why sell the products? You know, we showed you the stats on your clients are needed and thinking about it. It's a great income opportunity. And let me stress that to you again. It is a great income opportunity, and I will share that with you here in a couple minutes. The trusts are free, no fees. And you know, we ask every client, and imagine I've been doing this 14 years, we always ask our clients, hey, has anybody else ever talked to you about a plan like this? We have never had someone tell us yes. So there's no other professionals that are advising your clients on this. You can be that person. The funds are totally portable. They can be used at any funeral home. We're putting it with a good company that's going to be there to back that money. It gives your clients that peace of mind. And if you hate paperwork, you're going to love doing business with National Guardian Life. And again, if you don't do it, someone else will. But we'll talk about the compensation. So, you know, I use this, and I think this is light because we see the volume of production we get from agents. But if you just had 2 couples a month that could benefit from this, and you only did $10,000 on each of them, because not everybody wants to put $15,000 and max the plan out. But if you did that, just doing your reviews or just asking about it, you're going to add $40,000 to your annual bottom line. And I know we're all in the financial service industry and we like our vacation time. So I just base this on taking 2 months off of not writing any money in a 2-month period. I like this because what we do is our goal is always to write enough business to make sure we're taking care of all of our expenses for our 2 offices that we have. So we feel that this program here will support 2 offices as long as we're constantly talking to new prospects and our existing clients who have never done a plan that we haven't talked to about. So focus on the left top corner, if you would, for me. And this is picking up a deal from 0 to 60,000. And if you'll look there, if you go, I'll just use the lady I just wrote. So she's 70. So that 66 to 70-year-old, she was a standard issue. So that was 11%. So, you know, that was $1,650 for just doing a good job for her. But you can imagine if you're sitting with a married couple, now all of a sudden you're picking up $3,000 to $4,000 just doing a review with a client. And believe me, those reviews are imperative that you bring this up because those people already like you. You already know where the money is that you can use to fund these plans. So be prepared and know where you're going to pull that money from when you go in to do those reviews with the client. So NGL does a lot of nice trips. Their next one coming up is going to be at the Punta Cana Resort. I've been on their trips. They're fantastic. They treat you first class. You know, on trips, and I always mention this in the webinar, when I was young in this business and trying to really grow my business, and even now, when I go on these trips, I enjoy the trips. My wife and I love to travel and we have a great time. But you know really what I'm doing? I'm looking to find out who the top guys are. And I'm going to introduce myself to those guys and I'm going to find out what they're doing, because the beautiful thing about this business is you don't have to recreate the wheel. You just need to find out what the top guys are doing and then just replicate that, and you'll be very successful in this business. It's how we've grown to where we are today. So some of the biggest challenges, obviously getting comfortable with the concept. You know, I told you I sold that first annuity in 1993. I barely knew what I was doing other than I was getting the guy a better interest rate. Again, today, through years of practice, I'm good at it. Learn how to present, you know, stress those benefits of pre-planning. Don't be afraid to point out too, because you'll get people who say, well, I'm going to go to the funeral home and pre-plan. If you get on Google in your area and just click on funeral homes who have misused pre-planning funds, believe me, you'll find people at funeral homes in your area, and you can point that out to clients and say, hey, look, that's why we use an insurance company. The funds. You're not holding it, I'm not holding it, the funeral home's not holding it. We're using that party that's been around for 100 years to make sure that money is there when we need it. And then again, keep it on top of your mind. Every client, every day, it's a real simple question. Have you prepaid your funeral? You can go ahead to the next one there, Adam. There we go. So this is a guide for beneficiaries that we're going to talk about here on the next couple slides. And so what happened with us is we had a case that we had written annuity on, and it was about $500,000, and the client passed away. And I reached out to the family, and I said, you know, we need to set an appointment up so we can help you the processing of the claim paperwork. And what was I doing? I'm trying to position myself to continue to work with the money. And the daughter said to me, hey, John, don't worry about that. We've already talked to the guy at the bank. He said he'd be more than happy to handle that for us. Well, you know, we lost that account, and I promised myself that that wasn't going to happen to us again. So we developed this guide for beneficiaries, and what we used it for was to go up and update all the information on our clients. And then our successes were pretty phenomenal. Over a 6-month period of putting this beneficiary guide into each and every household, we picked up an additional $1.5 million of annuity premium. We picked up an additional $200,000 of traditional single premium life and $150,000 of National Guardian Life funeral trust. So we saw that it worked, and so what we did is we just continued to do that. And so what we will do is, if you become licensed with National Guardian Life through Insurance Agency Marketing Services, we'll make this available to you, and then you can put your company information on it. So we'll take a look at what that looks like. So this is basically what it looks like here. It says a guide for my beneficiaries. You know, for help settling my estate, please call my advisor at Enting Financial Services, and then we have all of our information on there. And then there's a welcome letter that we have in the beginning, and then it tells the beneficiary everything they need to do to settle that estate. But the most important thing it tells them is to call us first. And then here's the financial organizer, so we update all of their financial information. We're making sure everything's current. You may think your clients tell you everything they have. The reason we picked up all those additional sales is because we found out clients don't always tell you everything, but when you dig deep with this, that everything will come to the table and it'll present some more opportunities for you. So if we go to the next page, this is just more data we're collecting. Go to the next page, and you can see on the next page here, one more. Question 8, have you prepaid your funeral? It's a yes or no question. If they tell us that they have, then we're going to say, hey, do you have any money that you would like to know is protected from a nursing home should you need care? And then we can talk to them about the estate planning trust. But if they tell us no, then we know we're going to probably start out with the funeral expense trust. But we don't stop right there and launch into a sales spiel. We're just collecting the information so that when we're ready to present, we've got everything we need. We know where we can pull the money from. We know there's a need, and we can make a sale. So that's just the rest of the organizer. You can click through that, Adam. And that's pretty much it. That's how we do it. That's an outlay of the program. And if you have any questions, I'd certainly be happy to answer them for you.
Yeah, John, I thank you very much for going through that. I think you did a pretty good job. Not seeing any questions here. Just kind of while we're wrapping up here, I do want to launch our final poll question of the day. If going through that, you want to get a jump on getting contracted with National Guardian Life to take advantage of these great products, very simply, would you like contracting information for NGL? Be glad to get that out to you following the webinar here today. Certainly we'll be following up with everybody after the webinar just to check and see if there are any questions that came up after the fact, and get those answered and help you out with any cases that may be a decent fit here. But if you'd like to go ahead and get a jump on contracting, go ahead and click yes to that poll question. But I know we are over our time, so we appreciate all of you sticking around. John, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day. We know you're very busy out there, and appreciate you taking the time to walk us through this. So with that, I want to go ahead and wrap things up here in the interest of time. But thank you again, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday, a great weekend, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thanks, Adam.